The world ended on a Tuesday. It began with silence. A strange hush that fell across the cities as red mist rolled in, thick with metallic stench. Within hours, chaos consumed the streets. Phones died. Planes crashed. Screams echoed. The Crimson Plague didn't just kill, it changed people. First, the fever. Then the madness. Then the hunger. And then came the corpses that wouldn't stay down. By day 3, governments had fallen. Martial law collapsed under the weight of rotting flesh and blood-drenched streets. Humanity's last hope flickered and dimmed. The Qi, awakened by the plague, saturated the earth, but only a few could sense it, let alone use it. Luo Chen wasn't one of them. 17, with no background, no family left, and no Qi talent. Just a rusted camping knife and a team of survivors who barely tolerated his existence. Over here! Zhao Kai shouted, his armored jacket stained with gore. Zombies closing in, Luo, you take the rear. Luo hesitated. But that's... Shut up and do it, snarled Wu Jie, the group's self-proclaimed leader. His saber gleamed as he vaulted over a burned-out car, ignoring Luo entirely. Luo gritted his teeth and followed orders. Again. They made their way through the ruins of Donghe district, once a bustling commercial zone, now a graveyard of glass and bones. The plan was to raid a known shelter for supplies. But the moment they reached the intersection, the trap sprung. Zombies. Dozens. Maybe more. Crawling out of alleyways, bursting from windows, jaws cracking and eyes glowing with eerie red light. Shit! Zhao Kai shouted. They're surrounding us. Scatter! Regroup at the signal point. Wu Jie barked. Then Luo heard the words that would seal his fate. Leave him. He turned, disbelief freezing his blood. What? But they were already moving. Wu Jie. Zhao Kai. Even Linyu, the girl who had once shared half her rations with him, looked away as she ran. The truth hit him like a sledgehammer. He was bait. A growl snapped him back to reality. 2 zombies lunged. He dodged the first, slashing wildly at the second. The blade caught its cheek, peeling back gray flesh. It didn't stop. A rotting hand seized his arm. Yellowed teeth sank into his shoulder. Pain erupted, white-hot and deep. Luo screamed, collapsing to the ground as the zombie tore at him. His knife slipped from blood-slick fingers. The others were gone. No one was coming. The air seemed to thicken. The world darkened. So this is how I die. But then, something moved inside him. A chill spread through his spine. Time slowed. The sky seemed to ripple. A voice, cold, mechanical, and ancient, rang in his mind. Nether-bound ascension system activated. Binding host. Complete. Analyzing spiritual contamination. Status, infected. Soul preservation protocol initiated. Converting death chi. Commencing cultivation path. Luo gasped, the pain freezing mid-breath. The zombie above him twitched, then convulsed violently. Its eyes exploded into mist. Its body collapsed into ash, pouring a stream of dark red energy into his chest. He felt it burning, twisting, changing him. His wounds sealed in seconds. His vision sharpened. His limbs surged with unfamiliar strength. He stood, staggering. The dust around him swirled, and for the first time since the apocalypse began, Luo Chen felt it. Qi. Not gentle. Not natural. This was death qi. Poisoned. Violent. Alive. And it belonged to him. A cluster of zombies turned toward him, snarling. Luo bent, retrieved his knife, and met their gaze. He wasn't prey anymore. Come, he muttered, voice low and steady. Let me see how much I'm worth, now. The knife felt heavier in his hand now, more solid, more real. It was the same dull blade he'd carried since the start of the outbreak, but something had changed. He had changed. The zombies charged, their limbs jerking in unnatural spasms, jaws snapping. Their crimson glowing eyes locked on him as if drawn by something deeper than hunger, as if they recognized him. 3 of them. One limping with a twisted leg. One bloated and oozing. The last with long, twitching arms and bones poking through its skin. Chen didn't run. A flicker of movement, he darted forward, low and fast. Instinct guided him. The system didn't speak, but it fed him something better, intent. The knife slashed clean through the neck of the first zombie. The head tumbled, mouth still working. No blood, just mist, dark and cloying, spilled into the air. +5 death chi absorbed. Combat technique recognized, rusted slash. Analyzing. Evolution possible. Luo barely had time to process before the second zombie lunged. Its clawed fingers tore at his jacket. He ducked, gritted his teeth, and drove the blade into its chest. It screeched. The sound pierced his skull. The blade struck bone, stuck. Luo yanked it free just as the third zombie came at him, arms flailing. It knocked him back. He hit the ground hard, the world spinning. Pain exploded through his ribs. Something cracked. But beneath it, a new sensation pulsed hot and fierce in his dantian. Not pain. Power. The voice returned. Death chi threshold reached. Initiating cultivation, chi condensation, first layer. His breath caught as warmth bloomed in his core, spiraling like a storm. The very air seemed to thrum with energy. He felt his body absorb it, convert it. The world turned sharper, the mist around him slowed. Time dilated. Chen moved. He surged to his feet, blade flashing in a clean arc. Technique evolved, rusted slash crimson blade art, bronze rank. The knife pulsed with faint red light as it cut through the third zombie. The creature fell in 2 clean pieces. Silence returned. 3 corpses. 1 survivor. Luo staggered back, breathing hard. His body ached, but he could feel chi swirling inside him, cold and sharp, like steel wrapped in fire. He wiped blood from his lip and looked down at his shaking hands. This wasn't normal cultivation. He hadn't sat cross-legged and breathed gently under the stars. No incense, no spirit stones, no master guiding his path. He had killed for it. And it had answered. New ability unlocked, corpse core extraction, tier 0. Permission granted to extract and refine zombie cores into usable chi resources. A faint glow pulsed within the corpses at his feet. Cautiously, he knelt beside one. The system guided his hand, his fingers plunged into the chest, finding something round and warm. He pulled. A sphere emerged. Veined, pulsing faintly red. A zombie core. He stared at it. This was what cultivators now fought over. Not spirit herbs or beast pills, death itself. Chen placed the core against his chest as the system instructed. It dissolved into mist and poured into him. +12 death chi absorbed. His chi swelled. His breathing slowed. His pain dulled. And his hunger faded. In the distance, another groan echoed. Luo turned, eyes narrowing. He now understood what the system had made him into. He wasn't just a survivor anymore. He was a cultivator. But not one of the sects or the sky-touched prodigies of old legends. He was something new. He rose to his feet, blade red and dripping. "I don't need your mercy," he muttered to the dead. "You'll be my path." And he walked into the blood fog, hunting. Chen moved like a shadow through the crumbling alleyways of Dongha district. The red mist clung low to the ground, coiling around debris and corpses like a living thing. Somewhere in the ruins, a siren wailed warped and broken, its meaning long forgotten. He gripped the blood-stained knife tighter. His body felt lighter. Stronger. The chi swirling inside him wasn't gentle, it was volatile, laced with something that felt half alive and half dead. His cultivation had reached chi condensation first layer, but the system whispered of more. Next breakthrough, 75 death chi required. Zombie kills contribute to EXP and chi simultaneously. Optional quest, slay 10 zombies, 0/10, reward, random martial technique fragment. Quest system now, 2, he muttered, half smirking. Fine. Let's see what this new path really offers. He ducked through the back entrance of an old supermarket. Shelves were overturned, the floor slick with rot. A faded poster fluttered on the wall, stay indoors, protect the nation. A joke, now. He paused. Growling. Wet and close. 3 zombies staggered into view, once humans, now things of bone and blackened muscle. One dragged a broken leg. Another's jaw hung by strands of sinew. The last had a metal spike jammed through its shoulder. Chen didn't wait. He rushed forward, knife low, breathing steady. Crimson blade art, basic form. A red arc flashed. The nearest zombie's head separated cleanly, its body crumpling into dust and mist. +7 death chi. He ducked a swing from the second, stepping inside its reach. His knife sank into the base of its skull. +6 death chi. The third zombie lunged, gurgling. Luo dropped to one knee and drove the blade up through its chin. +8 death chi. Quest progress, 3 out of 10. He exhaled slowly. The chi surged again, burning, growing sharper, more responsive. He retrieved the 3 zombie cores, pressing each to his chest one by one. As the last dissolved into mist, the system chimed. Martial technique evolution available. Crimson blade art upgrade options. Scarlet Fong / focused single target strike. High penetration. Blood mist dance, agile multi-strike form. Increases evasion. Phantom blood / shadow infused strike. Causes internal bleeding. He considered. Luo remembered the leaping zombie from yesterday. Fast. Unnatural. He hadn't been fast enough. I need mobility. Selection confirmed, blood mist dance, bronze rank. The knowledge poured into him. New stances. New footwork. He tested it, slashing twice in midair, each strike clean, efficient. His body followed the moves with eerie precision. Now we're getting somewhere. He pushed deeper into the city ruins. In the next hour, he downed 7 more zombies using walls, overturned trucks, and even collapsed scaffolding to maneuver. He was no longer prey. Each kill fed the system. Each core refined into fuel. His senses sharpened. The blood mist dance let him slip between attacks, each motion flowing like a shadow through crimson fog. Quest complete, 10 zombies slain. Reward unlocked, random martial technique fragment. A glowing scroll appeared in his mind's eye. Technique fragment, bone piercer palm, incomplete, 1/3. Palm technique? Luo muttered. Guess the system wants me using more than just a blade. He stashed the fragment. He'd need more to unlock the full technique, but it was a start. Suddenly, a hiss. He froze. At the edge of a nearby building, something crawled down the wall. Thin. Gray. Too fast. Its limbs were longer than a normal zombie's, and its eyes glowed with blue fire. Threat level, moderate. Variant detected, leaping zombie, tier 1. It saw him. Then it vanished. Luo turned instinctively, too slow. A blur slammed into him from behind. He hit the pavement, stars exploding in his vision. His knife skittered out of reach. He rolled, narrowly dodging claws that cracked the asphalt where his head had been. The leaping zombie hissed again, crouched low like a predator. Luo's heart thundered. No blade. No time. But the system surged in his mind. Emergency combat triggered. Crimson blade art and blood mist dance fused, adaptive technique in progress. Luo clenched his fists. He wouldn't die again. Fine, he growled. Let's see how far this system can really take me. And he charged, barehanded, into the monster's claws. The leaping zombie struck like a blur of broken limbs and malice, its blue eyes pulsing with killing intent. One swipe of its claw tore through concrete like paper. Luo Chen moved. Not by thought, by instinct, by system-fed reflex. His feet twisted into an arc, dodging beneath the zombie's lunge. His left hand caught the creature's forearm, cold, like iron, while his right slammed into its chest. Combat technique evolving, blood mist dance plus basic palm flow phantom blood slash, prototype form. His palm lit red for a split second. Then it exploded forward. A pulse of force rippled into the zombie's chest. Bone cracked. The thing screeched, skidding backward across the ruined asphalt. Mist hissed from the wound, a mixture of death chi and something darker. Luo's vision blurred. His breath hitched. He wasn't strong enough yet. The zombie recovered mid-skid and crouched low, preparing to leap again. The system's voice echoed, cold and fast. System override, emergency technique enhancement triggered. Weaponless combat protocol unlocked, ghost vein infusion. Temporary skill, phantom blood slash, tier 1, shadow-infused palm art. Luo's body moved again. He surged forward, palm glowing faintly with dark crimson chi. Each step became lighter, faster, like he was shedding gravity. The leaping zombie struck again, shrieking. This time, he didn't dodge. He met it. His hand slammed directly into its open mouth. For an instant, time stopped. Then the phantom blood slash detonated. The zombie's head imploded, mist and gore spraying in all directions. The body crashed behind him in twitching pieces. Silence. Kill confirmed, tier 1 leaping zombie. Plus 15 death chi. Zombie core detected, grade, mutated tier 1. Luo knelt, heart still pounding. The corpse twitched as if resisting. He dug into the chest cavity and pulled free the core, a deep blue sphere wrapped in black mist. It pulsed like a heartbeat. System, he whispered. Can I absorb this? Core compatible. Risk, medium. Mutated chi contains unstable essence. Absorption may result in backlash. He hesitated. Then clenched the core tighter. I'm not staying weak. He pressed it to his chest. The pain came instantly, cold needles lancing through his meridians, his chi howling in protest. His vision darkened. Blood ran from his nose. Absorption underway. Mutated chi contained, success rate, 67%. 81%. 100%. Breakthrough achieved, chi condensation, second layer. Martial technique upgraded, phantom blood slash, full form, tier 1 bronze rank. The pain vanished. In its place came clarity. Energy rushed through him, cleaner, sharper, more predatory. His limbs twitched with speed. His vision adjusted to the mist, he could see shapes now, through the fog, as if the world had been blurred before and was now coming into focus. Luo rose slowly, eyes narrowing. He was stronger now. But something else had changed. In the reflection of a broken car window, he caught a glimpse of his eyes, faintly glowing red, veins pulsing just beneath the skin. A trace of the zombie's mutation had stayed with him. The system confirmed it. Status update: host has partially assimilated zombie traits. Effect: enhanced reflexes, night vision, minor resistance to corpse toxin. He stared at himself for a long moment. Not quite human anymore. But not undead. A new path. Hybrid. In the distance, howls echoed, more zombies, stirred by the death of their mutated kin. Luo sheathed his knife. His wounds were already closing. His chi surged hotter and faster with every breath. Good, he muttered. He turned toward the sound of the next horde. Come find me. And he disappeared into the red mist once more, hunting. The night was thick with rotten red mist as Luo Chen crossed into the southern district, once a haven of neon lights and high-rise malls. Now it was grave quiet. The only sound was the shuffle of corpses and the distant crack of bone against stone. But he wasn't here for the dead. He was here for the living. The dojo was exactly where the map scrap had said it would be, an old martial hall nestled between two collapsed towers, its walls blackened with fire, its wooden gates cracked but still standing. Above the doorway, a faded inscription read, "Where flesh fails, spirit must rise." Luo pushed the gate open. Inside, the scent hit him: iron, sweat, incense long burned out. But more than that, he felt chi in the air. Ancient, barely clinging to the ruined structure. Cultivation had once lived here. Now it was dying. "Hold it!" The voice came sharp, panicked. A figure stepped from behind a broken pillar, a young woman in tattered robes, eyes bloodshot, blade shaking in her hand. More figures emerged from the shadows, 5 in total. Tired, malnourished, but alive. Cultivators, low tier, most barely in chi condensation. "We're not accepting new strays," the woman snapped. "Leave before you bring more undead." Luo met her gaze calmly. "I'm not here to hide." He pulled a blood-blue zombie core from his pouch and tossed it at her feet. "Tier 1. Killed it myself." They stared. One of the others, a boy barely older than 16, bent to pick it up. His hands trembled. "No one outside the sects can kill a leaping zombie," he whispered. "I'm not in a sect," Luo said. "I have something better." The system hummed in his mind. Atmospheric chi density, moderate. Spiritual traces detected, residual techniques stored within dojo. He stepped past them, heading for the dojo's central hall. They didn't stop him. The room was caved in on one side, but still held what mattered: scroll racks, broken weapon stands, a shattered statue of a sword saint long forgotten. The air practically buzzed with spiritual memory. Luo reached the main scroll shelf. Dust and rot had ruined most of the scripts. But one, half-burned, bound in leather, shone faintly as he pulled it free. System scan initiated. Technique detected: blood seal art, corpse suppression formation, fragmented. Compatibility, 72%, fusion possible. Integrate with existing techniques? Result, blood seal / hybrid formation / attack skill, tier 1. "Do it," he said aloud. The scroll dissolved into mist, absorbed directly into his sea of consciousness. Images poured into his mind: sigils, slashes, ways to carve ceiling arrays with one strike. Meant not just to kill, but lock down the death energy within zombies. Perfect for someone who harvested the undead. Luo stumbled back as the knowledge settled. His body thrummed with potential. Then a voice behind him: "You're not normal." He turned. The woman had followed him in, blade lowered now. She wasn't threatening anymore, just tired. "Name's Su Ruyan," she said. "We've been holding this place for weeks. Barely surviving. And now you show up, throwing tier 1 cores like they're trash?" "I'm not here to lead," Luo said. "But I can teach you how to kill." "And in return?" Luo's eyes gleamed faintly red. "You give me time, space, and corpses." A long silence passed. Then she nodded. "Fair trade." That night, Luo stood atop the dojo's ruined roof, watching the blood moon rise. Down below, survivors trained, some with swords, others meditating. She swirled in weak spirals, but it was better than nothing. The system whispered. "Blood seal / 63% mastery. Next evolution requires battle data, use against variant undead recommended." Luo glanced east, where the mist thickened over the horizon. More evolved zombies were coming. He could feel it. Good. Let them come. Because now, he had a shelter, a technique, and a reason to carve his name into the bones of this apocalypse. And in the dark beneath the dojo's floor, something ancient stirred, sealed long ago beneath ruins that now flickered with failing light. It had felt his presence. And it was hungry. The dojo was quieter now. Survivors trained in silence beneath Luo Chen's cold gaze, mimicking the footwork he demonstrated, repeating the simplified blood seal forms he distilled for them. Their progress was slow, but it was progress. A week had passed since Luo claimed the dojo. He had killed 14 more zombies, absorbed 5 cores, refined 3 into spiritual pills using the system's new feature, and further upgraded his Phantom Blood Slash to near perfection. Martial Technique, Phantom Blood Slash, 94% Mastery. Refinement Skill unlocked, Zombie Core Alchemy, Tier 1. Spiritual Pills crafted, 3/5. But peace never lasted. The front gate slammed open with a thunderous crack. Voices, too human, too loud. Luo stood at the top of the dojo stairs as 7 figures entered the ruined courtyard. Their robes were clean. Their boots polished. Qi radiated from their bodies in oppressive waves. And in the lead, Zhou Kai. Tall. Smug. Sword strapped across his back. One of the men who had left Luo to die in the zombie horde. Didn't think I'd find you squatting in a pile of trash, Luo Chen, Zhou Kai said, his voice slick with amusement. What is this? A beggar's dojo? The other traitors laughed. Su Ruyan stepped forward, furious. Who the hell are you? Zhou glanced at her, dismissive. This is Luo's playpen, right? Don't worry. We're just here to remind him who he really is. Luo didn't move. He let them talk. I mean, seriously, Zhou continued. We saw your corpse, Luo. We used your corpse. You bought us 10 minutes to escape. Was a good death. But now? This? He motioned to the survivors. This isn't strength. This is desperation dressed up as delusion. Luo finally spoke. Then let's test your reality. Zhou's smirk faltered. What? I'll show you what desperation becomes when you feed it corpses. He stepped forward and tossed something onto the ground. A severed zombie head. Still twitching. The face wore the crown of bone that marked it as a zombie king tier 2. Gasps rippled through the courtyard. Zhou's smirk died. You're lying. Scan it, Luo said calmly. Zombie core verified, tier 2, king class. New feature unlocked, zombie core refinement, advanced tier. A glowing panel appeared in his vision. Refine this core into Emperor's Chi Pill, temporarily boosts realm. Blood Thread Pill, enhances mutation control. Bone Catalyst Elixir, accelerates technique mastery. Luo made his choice silently. The system began refining the core. Zhou's hand went to his sword. That's impossible. You were the weakest in the group. I was, Luo agreed. Then I died. He stepped forward and in a blur, appeared in front of Zhou. His hand struck. Phantom Blood Slash, suppressing form. Zhou's body flew backwards, crashing into a stone pillar hard enough to splinter it. His blade never even left its sheath. Silence. The other traitors looked between Luo and their fallen leader. One reached for his weapon. Luo raised a hand and the system triggered a seal beneath his feet. A red sigil bloomed in the dirt. Blood Seal Art, Corpse Suppression Formation. The ground erupted with ghostly chains of qi, wrapping around the intruders, dragging them to their knees. Zhou groaned, spitting blood. What did you become? Luo stared down at him, eyes faintly glowing. I became what you feared I would, he said softly. Stronger than you. Smarter. And no longer human enough to care about your approval. He turned to Su Ruyan and the other survivors. These people left me for dead. Do with them what you want. Train with them. Kill them. I don't care. He walked away, system screens flickering around him. Refinement complete, Bone Catalyst Elixir created. Consume? He drank it in one motion. Energy surged through him, his veins pulsed with light, and the blood seal slash jumped from 40% to 70% mastery instantly. But deep inside, beneath the old floorboards of the dojo, something stirred again. This time it wasn't hunger. It was recognition. A forgotten presence from the first cultivators to fight the Crimson Plague, a remnant bound in chains, watching the boy above, whispering in a voice only the system could hear. That one walks the path of ascension through death. Release me. The blood moon hung low, casting the ruined city in a crimson haze. Chen stood on the rooftop of Market Tower, the tallest building for miles, now half collapsed and surrounded on all sides by corpse mist. Survivors from the dojo had followed him here, 20 strong. They had trained, fought, endured. Now they stood beside him, blades drawn and hearts pounding. Below, the dead gathered. Thousands. Their howls split the night air. Clawed hands pounded against the walls. Rotten bodies shambled through wreckage. And at their head stood a towering abomination, 9 feet tall, skin like decayed steel, and eyes burning with plague fire. A Tier 3 plague ghoul. Its aura crushed the air. Even experienced chi condensation cultivators collapsed from pressure alone. Su Ruyan knelt beside Luo, her breathing ragged. We can't hold them. Luo said nothing. He watched the ghoul raise a clawed hand, and the undead stopped. Then it pointed at the tower. And the siege began. Zombies surged up the broken stairwells. Others climbed like spiders across the jagged outer walls. Some leapt from nearby rooftops, snapping limbs in the landing but still moving. The survivors fought. Steel met flesh. Chi techniques burned through rotting meat. But for every zombie they killed, 5 more replaced it. It was a blood tide. And at the center of it all, Luo stood still, eyes closed, breathing slow. The system whispered. Core burst formation, ready. Trigger, detonate 5 refined cores simultaneously. Effect, zombie detection radius expansion plus death chi chain reaction. Estimated kill range, 120 meters. He opened his eyes. Form ranks. Fall back to the 3rd floor. Hold the stairwell. Buy me 5 minutes. Su Ruyan stared at him. What are you doing? Ending this. She hesitated, then nodded, grabbing the nearest 2 fighters and retreating with the others. Luo stepped to the edge of the roof. 5 zombie cores floated from his pouch, refined, glowing with stored chi. The system highlighted each one with red sigils. He crouched, pressing his palms to the rooftop surface. Engaging formation anchor. Deploying blood seal sigils. Core burst array, activated. Below, the plague ghoul sensed something. It let out a bone-splitting shriek and leapt. Up the side of the tower it came, smashing through rebar and stone, claws glowing with green flame. Luo watched it climb. Waited. Waited. Then whispered, detonate. The rooftop exploded in red light. Death chi flooded the sky like a pulse wave. The 5 refined cores burst, each a miniature sun of plague-cleansing fire. The array lines carved into the building ignited, channeling the blast down through the tower's walls and out into the street below. The effect was instantaneous. Zombies screamed and dropped mid-run, bodies burning from the inside. The wave struck the plague ghoul mid-climb, its corrupted chi ripped from its flesh, veins bursting, black blood spraying in arcs. It fell. Hard. The ground cracked beneath it. Luo collapsed to one knee, breath catching in his throat. Core burst formation, success. Estimated kill count, 700 plus. New achievement unlocked, Formation Master, Tier 1. Bonus reward, choose one undead repulsion field, 5-minute cooldown, or passive chi drain aura. He chose the aura. Immediately, a field of invisible energy spread from his core, low enough not to hurt humans, but any undead that approached now found their strength draining, chi leaking into the air, and flowing into him. Luo stood. Down below, the ghoul twitched. Still alive. Of course it was. He leapt. Fell 3 stories, landed on its chest, and drove his hand into its skull. Phantom blood / execution form. A single strike. The plague ghoul's head exploded. Its core, massive, black with veins of green, pulsed in his hand like a dying heart. Core absorption possible, Tier 3. Warning, contains viral essence. May trigger mutation. Luo grinned. Let's evolve. He consumed the core. Pain lanced through his body. Visions of rotting skies and screaming spirits flooded his mind. But the system shielded him, guiding the process, distilling plague essence into strength. Hybrid evolution achieved, stage 2. New traits acquired: regenerative flesh, corpse touch immunity, bone reinforcement. Chi realm breakthrough, chi condensation, 5th layer. The mist began to retreat. Zombies scattered in mindless panic. And Luo stood on the corpse of the ghoul, staring at the fading blood moon. They had survived the siege. But far to the north, the sky cracked with black lightning. The Crimson Palace was awakening. And it had noticed him. The aftermath of the siege left market towers scorched and reeking of rot. Dozens of corpses littered the stairwells, most undead, some human. Survivors limped through the ruins, patching wounds and stacking bodies for burn piles. Luo Chen sat cross-legged in a quiet corner of the dojo's war room, eyes closed, the Tier 3 plague ghoul's core pulsing faintly in his palm. Its energy had already reshaped his body: stronger bones, faster regeneration, and uncanny stillness in his chi flow. But the system was not done. Critical milestone reached: chi condensation, 5th layer with hybrid mutations active. System evolution option unlocked. A new prompt flashed in his mind, the text sharp, silver-edged. Path selection: human cultivator/hybrid cultivator. Option 1, remain human. Slower cultivation, safer technique compatibility. Easier integration with sects and spiritual factions. Immune to corruption mutations. Option 2, become hybrid. Plus 30% cultivation speed using death chi. Passive zombie trait immunity. New evolutionary skill tree unlocked. Risk: dark chi influence may evolve body further. Luo didn't hesitate. I choose hybrid. The system chimed cold, final. Path confirmed, hybrid cultivator. Initializing gene sync. His body convulsed. A low growl escaped his throat as black veins shimmered beneath his skin, thread-like and pulsing. His vision sharpened, darkness no longer obscured. His hearing expanded, picking up the twitch of rats beneath the floorboards, the breath of survivors dozens of meters away. And deep within, his soul twisted. Not toward corruption, but toward balance. The system filtered the viral essence, fusing spirit and corpse energy into a new form of chi, void chi. Trait unlocked, night vision. Trait unlocked, death sense, detect undead within 300 m radius. New martial option, evolve blood seal art soul chain suppression array. Luo accepted the upgrade. A new diagram bloomed in his mind, a multi-layered formation that didn't just seal the undead, it tethered their death energy, feeding it into the caster. With this, he could suppress hordes or harvest them. He stood. Outside, Su Ruyan met him at the courtyard steps, blood-stained bandage around her neck. "You've changed," she said, not accusing, just observing. "I chose a different path," he said. "You don't look entirely human anymore." "Good. The undead don't hesitate. Neither should we." She studied him for a long moment. "We lost 4 people. But we're still alive because of you. They died free. Not screaming on the street." He looked north. So did she. A faint glow pulsed against the horizon, deep crimson, shifting like a heartbeat. "The Crimson Palace," she murmured. "The zombies are building something," Luo said. "A city of the dead. Cultivating their own sovereign. We're not ready." Luo reached into his pouch and pulled out the soul-threaded map he'd claimed from the plague ghoul's corpse. The ink shimmered with death chi, showing locations marked with corpse symbols and ancient seal diagrams. "There are techniques buried in this city. Artifacts that can bind the dead or tear them open. And you want to go treasure hunting?" He looked at her. "I want to invade the palace." That night, the system pulsed a final message into his thoughts. Hybrid threshold passed, class title unlocked, Reaper of the Undying. Next evolution requires sovereign core or equivalent catalyst. And beneath the dojo, deep in the ancient catacombs, bones began to stir. An old formation, cracked but not yet broken, flared red once more. It had felt his evolution. And the thing sealed beneath whispered its first words in 100 years. You are not their savior, Luo Chen. You are their harbinger. It began with a tremor. Luo Chen awoke before dawn, seated in stillness atop the dojo's highest spire. The sky, once polluted gray, had bled into a deeper red, thick clouds swirling unnaturally as if pulled by a heartbeat beneath the earth. The system spoke without prompt. Warning, major apocalyptic structure detected. Crimson Palace emergence, 48 hours until full manifestation. He opened his eyes. On the northern horizon, where ruined skyscrapers met the wastelands, a colossal silhouette loomed. Black spires. Pulsing bloodlight. Walls forged not of stone but of bone. Rising from beneath the city like a buried god clawing back into existence. The Crimson Palace. It had begun to fully awaken. Su Ruyan and several survivors joined him, their faces pale with awe. That wasn't there yesterday, she whispered. Luo nodded slowly. It was underground. Dormant. Like a corpse waiting to ascend. The system projected more data into his vision. Structure analysis, Crimson Palace. Function, undead cultivation tower. Primary core, sovereign class undead entity. Energy signature, 7x peak foundation establishment. Estimated hostiles, 12,000 plus, 90% tier 1, 8% tier 2, 2% evolved tier 3 plus. Unique signature detected, soulbound entity, target known. Luo's heart stilled. Target known. Show me, he commanded. The system obeyed. A floating screen formed in the air before him, rendering a blurry, spectral image from deep within the palace's central spire. There, chained beneath a throne made of fused corpses, was a figure in blood-crusted robes. Gaunt. Silent. Eyes closed, lips stitched by cursed thread. But Luo knew that face. Yuan Ji, he whispered. His childhood friend. The first to awaken Qi alongside him. The first to go missing during the early outbreak. He wasn't dead. He was bound, infected, perhaps, but still alive. The screen pulsed again. Soul match, confirmed, 98% integrity. Warning, host under partial sovereign control. Su Ruyan frowned. Who is that? Someone I should have protected. He turned to the gathered fighters in the courtyard below. Survivors, yes, but now many were cultivators. Weak, but growing. Hardened by the siege. Loyal. Driven. We leave in 6 hours, he said. I'm going in. You're storming that death trap with 20 half-trained Qi condensation rookies, she asked. I'm not asking them to fight the sovereign, Luo replied. I'm asking them to help me breach the outer wall. He held up a map, one drawn not by human hands, but burned into plague bone and deciphered using death Qi. I found a breach point. An old tunnel, sealed with both corpse fire and blood Qi. We can open it. The inside. I'll handle. And if you find your friend? Luo didn't answer at first. Then, I bring him back. Su Ruyan watched him for a long time. Then nodded. I'll assemble the assault team. Hours later, the expedition began. They moved fast through ruined streets, bypassing hordes using corpse-repelling incense and Luo's passive Qi drain aura. The Crimson Palace drew the undead like moths to flame. Many were already entering its blood gates willingly, offering themselves to the sovereign's evolving army. At dusk, they reached the tunnel. It was sealed with bone, a wall of fused corpses, screaming silently, covered in runes older than modern cultivation. Luo stepped forward and placed his hand on the barrier. Blood seal array engaged. Soul chain art, deciphering inverted Qi threads. The wall responded to him. Not as an intruder, but as kin. It opened. Inside, darkness. Cold. Whispers. They stepped into the Crimson Palace. And the system whispered its final warning. You have entered a sovereign domain. Rules altered, time flow x2, chi regeneration disabled, death chi amplified. In the distance, something laughed, a voice so familiar it shattered part of Luo's composure. Chen, you came after all. Yuanji's voice. But it wasn't just him anymore. The Crimson Palace pulsed with malignant life. Luo Chen moved through its blood-slicked halls like a shadow, leading his strike team through corpse-forged corridors and chi-poisoned catacombs. Behind him, the last survivors of Market Tower, 10 battle-tested cultivators, each marked by fire and blood. The palace shifted as they moved, walls closing in, staircases moving, dead eyes watching from statues that bled. But Luo remained calm. He had learned to hear the pulse of the place. It beat like a heart. A sovereign's heart. System alert, proximity, sovereign core chamber, 600 meters. Warning, hostile territory, no external spiritual chi accessible. System integrated chi sources only. Su Ruyan, at his side, gripped her spear. This whole place feels wrong. Like it's watching us. It is, Luo said. Every step was deeper into the sovereign's domain. They fought beasts of bone and blood, mutated zombies that had cultivated to tier 3 and beyond. Infected spirit beasts with patchwork eyes. Undead monks who still recited corrupted mantras as they attacked. Every kill, Luo harvested. Every drop of death chi flowed into his core, his cultivation surging in silence. Chi condensation, 9th layer. He was now a step from foundation establishment. And waiting for him in the palace's heart was the chance. The core chamber was a throne room of horrors. At the center stood Yuanji, suspended by soul chains, body riddled with curse inscriptions, eyes hollow but aware. Before him loomed the zombie sovereign. 3 meters tall. 6 arms. She like falling mountains. Eyes burning like black suns. It had no mouth. No voice. But it spoke into their minds, its intent pressed into their thoughts like knives. You come seeking salvation. You bring death instead. You will stay. All of you. The sovereign raised a claw. The palace screamed. Dead flesh reformed into soldiers, an army of sovereign-bound zombies with semi-conscious minds. Dozens. Luo stepped forward. The system burned through his soul. Sovereign-level host detected. Ascension pathway unlocked. Consume sovereign core to break limit, foundation establishment realm available. Warning, this breakthrough will be irreversible. Proceed? He whispered, proceed. Then raised his blade, now evolved into Phantom Blood Fawn, a crimson weapon forged from 5 blood arts and 2 sovereign fragments. The final battle began. Su Ruyan and the survivors held the horde at bay, falling one by one, but never retreating. Each death bought Luo a second. A heartbeat. A step closer. He faced the zombie sovereign alone, matching its 6 limbs with fluid strikes, his death chi and void chi swirling in chaotic unison. Every clash threatened to tear his body apart. Every counterstrike pushed him closer to death. Until he triggered the soul chain suppression array, binding the sovereign's limbs mid-lunge. Then lunged, driving Phantom Blood Fawn through its core. The sovereign roared without sound. Its body exploded into a cyclone of death chi, raw, untamed, and vast. Luo's body caught fire from the inside. He ate it. Every wisp. Every cursed strand. He consumed it all. And then, he rose. Foundation establishment, complete. New title, Nether Lord of the End. Chi type, Void, Death, Hybrid Spirit. Bloodline trait evolved, Undying Core. New ability, Raise Soulbound Undead, 3 per realm layer. He turned to Yuanji. With a word from the system, he severed the sovereign's hold, burned the parasite soul from his friend's body, and caught him as he fell. Yuanji opened his eyes. You saved me. I'm sorry I was late. But it wasn't over. Outside, the sky wept blood. And far above, beyond the clouds, a rift in heaven itself had opened. A golden seal, cracked by Luo's ascension, hovered above the world. The spiritual heavens had noticed Earth again. And they did not approve. Luochen looked up at the sky, calm, whole, burning with power. If heaven won't save us, he said, I'll ascend and crush heaven myself. He turned to the survivors, what remained of them, and raised his hand. From now on, we are the Nether sect. We don't kneel. We don't run. We bury gods. Behind him, the Crimson Palace cracked. And a new legend began.